Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradari Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradari Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yamunatira Vanachari Yamunatira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Srimad Bhagavatam HG Bhakti Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai Jayam Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivrajakacarya Ashtottara Shata Srimad Bhagavatam the Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada Ki Jai Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai Namacharya Shri Haridas Thakur Ki Jai Prem Sikaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaur Bhakti Vrinda Ki Jai Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopakapana Shamakun Radhakun Giri Govardhan Ki Jai Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai Navadvip Dham Ki Jai Ganga Yamuna Mai Ki Jai Tulsi Maharani Ki Jai Bhakti Devi Ki Jai Samaveta Bhakti Vrinda Ki Jai. All glories to the simple devotees, all glories to the simple devotees, all glories to the simple devotees, all glories to Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga. Om Namah Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namah Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namah Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So, fifth canto, entitled The Creative Impetus, chapter 11, Jud Bard instructs King Rahugana. Text 12. Chetragya Eta Manaso Vibhutir Jivasya Maya Rachitasya Nityaha Avirhitaha Kwapi Tirohitash Cha Shudho Vichaste Hi Avishudha Kartuhu Chetragya Eta Manaso Vibhutir Jivasya Maya Richitasya Nityaha Avirhita Kwapi Tirohitascha Shudho Vichaste Hyavishuddha Kartuhu Kshetragya ita manaso vibhutir Jivasya maya richitasya nityaha Avirhita kvapi tirohitascha Shudho vichaste hyavishuddha kartuhu Kshetragya ita manaso vibhutir Jivasya maya richitasya nityaha Avirhita kvapi tirohitascha Shudho vichaste hyavishuddha kartuhu All right. Kshetragyaha, the individual soul. Itaha, all these. Manasaha, of the mind. Vibhutihi, different activities. Jivasya, of the living entity. Maya richitasya, created by the external material energy. Nityaha, from time immemorial. Avirhitaha, sometimes manifested. Kvapi, somewhere. Tirohitaha cha, and not manifested. Shuddhaha, purified. Vichaste, sees this. He, certainly. Avishuddha, unpurified. Kartu, of the doer. Translation and commentary by His Divine Grace, HG Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. The individual soul, bereft of Krishna consciousness, has many ideas and activities created in the mind by the external energy. They have been existing from time immemorial. Sometimes they are manifest in the wakening state and in the dream state. But during deep sleep, unconsciousness, or trance, they disappear. A person who is liberated in this life, Jivan Mukta, can see all these things vividly. Purport. As stated in Bhagavad Gita 13.3, Chaitra Gyam Chapi Mam Vidhi Sarve Chaitreshu Bharata. There are two kinds of Chaitragya, or living beings. One is the individual living being, the other is the supreme living being. The ordinary living being knows about his body to some extent, but the Supreme Paramatma knows the conditions of all bodies. The individual living being is localized, and the Supreme Paramatma is all-pervading. In this shloka, the word Chaitragya refers to an ordinary living being, not the Supreme living being. This ordinary living being is of two kinds, Nitya Bada or Nitya Mukta. One is eternally conditioned, and the other eternally liberated. Eternally liberated living beings are in the Vaikuntha Jagat, the spiritual world, and they never fall into the material world. Those in the material world are conditioned souls, Nitya Bada. The Nitya Badas can become liberated by controlling the mind, because the cause of conditioned life is the mind. When the mind is trained and the soul is not under the mind's control, the soul can be liberated even in this material world. When it is liberated, one is called Jivan Mukta. A Jivan Mukta knows how he has become conditioned. Therefore, he tries to purify himself and return home back to Godhead. The eternally conditioned soul is eternally conditioned because he is controlled by the mind. The conditioned state and liberated state are compared to the sleeping, unconscious state and the awakened state. Those who are sleeping and unconscious are eternally conditioned, but those who are awake understand that they are eternally part and parcel of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna. Therefore, even in this material world, they engage in Krishna's service, as confirmed by Srila Rupa Goswami. Iha yasya harer dase. If one takes to Krishna's service, he is liberated, even though he appears to be conditioned, a conditioned soul within the material world. Jivan mukta suuchite. In any condition, one is to be considered liberated if his only business is to serve Krishna. Now, a pretty short chapter, this chapter we're studying. Right, chapter 11, there's 17 verses. So we're almost to the end of the chapter. 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Some chapters are really long, right? 40, 50, 60. I don't know what's the longest. 70? 80? Javeda Prabhu. Om Jnanativedandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshulanmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Mukam Kridavachalam Pangam Langai Tegrim Yakripatam Ham Vande Shri Gurun Dinitaranam Vancha Kopadribishta Kripa Sindhibevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaura Bhaktivinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. You know that, Dravida Prabhu? What's the chapter in the Bhagavatam with the longest, how many verses? With the most verses? Yeah. I don't know what, 70, 80, 80? Fourth canto. Yeah, so some are quite short, 17. This one's quite short, some 40, 50, 60, 70, 80. Huh? Which one's short? Yeah, this might be the shortest. But you're saying another one? 1031. Prayers of what? Oh, the Gopis. Okay. So, yeah. So I'll read the translation again. The individual soul, bereft of Krishna consciousness, has many ideas and activities created in the mind by the external energy. They have been existing from time immemorial. Sometimes they're manifest in the awakening state and in the dream state, but during deep sleep, unconsciousness, or trance, they disappear. A person who is liberated in this life, Jivan Mukta, can see all these things vividly. So a soul bereft of Krishna consciousness has many ideas and activities created in their minds by the external energy. So a Krishna conscious person, they have many ideas and activities created in their mind by the internal energy or the spiritual energy. So in other words, if a person is in connection with Krishna, or if a person's Krishna conscious, then they also have thoughts, they have ideas, they have plans. But it's of a different nature, because a materialistic person or a person bereft of Krishna consciousness, they have so many plans and ideas that are just harmful for themselves, harmful for the others, harmful for the world. Whereas a Krishna conscious person, they have plans, ideas that are good by nature, good for themselves, good for others, good for the world. Of course, could be a problem within religion or within a religious person's mind, because they may be thinking, yes, I'm very connected to God, and I'm getting this bright idea right now that I should go, they do so many things, right? I should go blow up a building, because it's, even devotees, they had this idea that, okay, let's, I think they tried to blow up with bombs, a McDonald's or a slaughterhouse or something. They tried to do that. Yeah, in Prabhupada's. Yeah, in Prabhupada's day, they tried to do that. So they're thinking, okay, we're chanting Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, and we're getting up early. We're engaged in Bhakti yoga, right? We're doing. All right, get this bright idea in my head. Yes, let's go blow up a McDonald's. Let's go blow up a slaughterhouse. Why? Because it's evil. It's demoniac. Of course, it is evil. It is demoniac. But their idea is they wanted to go blow it up, with the bomb. So they did that. I think they got hurt, or anyways. Oh, really? Oh, we'll have to do some investigation. Whether the thought was there or they actually did it, I remember them actually doing it. But anyways, but just because a thought comes, and just because we're practitioners of Bhakti yoga, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's a thought that needs to be acted on, even though it may sound good within our minds. So therefore, there's this idea of confirmation. Okay, I'm having this thought, I'm having this desire, and I think it's Krishna conscious, I think it's good. What do you think about this? What do you think about this, Prabhu? What do you think about this, Guru Maharaj? What do you think about this? Is it good? So yeah, that's an important thing to keep in mind, because a lot of people have done a lot of weird things in the name of religion. Like, for example, killing a bunch of people. They're saying, okay, hey, you accept whoever, right? This prophet, that prophet, this representative of God, that representative of God. You accept my conception of God, or else I'm going to kill you. And here's a sword, and I'm not joking around. And some people say, no, I'm not accepting, and then they just, kill him. Or just like anyways, there's so many cases like that. So, but Srila Prabhupada said, he said, I came with the sword also to spread Krishna consciousness. But he said, I came with the sword of knowledge. So that's you could say, the sword or the weapon we're using, the sword of knowledge. As Vaisheshika Prabhu has in one of his chapters of his book on book distribution, the pen is mightier than the sword. So to conquer, you could say, or to transform people, or to transform a particular place is difficult. And it can't happen by force. It can't happen by brute force. It has to happen by other ways. Just like within India, means traditional Vedic culture, or specifically the original culture of India. There's certain principles that people live by, moral principles, cleanliness principles. There's so many different principles they live by. And for years, for decades, for hundreds of years, people have been trying to change how Indians think, how they how they, what they believe in, right? But they've been having a very difficult time. You've had people go in there by force, right? Breaking temples and doing all types of different things, trying to say, accept our culture, accept our way of thinking. You had the British going in there also, trying to transform or change the way Indians think. And they've all had a difficult time, somehow or other. The people of India have, in many ways, stuck to what they believe and what they live for. But of course, through the advent of the television and internet and so many things like that, so many ideas have. Now ideas are just, right. It's the information age, which is interesting because even though it's the information age, there's still a lot of ignorance going on. So the information age has infiltrated India and all over the world and has been pushing this materialistic, hedonistic, atheistic culture. And it is having, it is changing people for the worse. So we're not into this idea of just, we just have some bright idea and let's act on it. But it has to be confirmed. Because again, so many weird things have happened under the guise of a bright idea. Again, all this brute force and these things. And I was just mentioning that a culture or a particular place, again, is not changed by brute force, but it's changed by media, by somehow or other getting the message out this way or that way, whatever the message might be. And it does change people. I mean, just look all over the world. I mean, the world is becoming extremely materialistic. Why? Because all the propaganda. I mean, it's working. Hollywood, Hollyweird, right? It's working. So the idea is that our acharyas, specifically Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur and Srila Prabhupada following in his footsteps, they wanted to change the world, and of course they did, and they are, but they wanted to change the world more and more and more by any and all means. Of course, books are there, book distribution, and getting in people's head, right, through the books that are distributed, the knowledge that they read. It's a great way. And they also engaged other ways. Prabhupada was, right, speaking all these TV shows and news reporters. Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he had an amazing thing going on. Maybe someday we could discuss in detail, but it was practically like a circus. I mean, he had all these people doing tricks and this and that, and alongside all that whole show that they set up, he would have these dioramas of the different pastimes of Krishna. He would have devotees lecturing and different things like that. So the idea is that as followers of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, as followers of Srila Prabhupada, we all should try to see how we could influence people for the better. Of course, again, book distribution is there, Harinam is there, different forms of outreach are there. But there's other ways too. Like social media, for example. Now, of course, I understand, but by nature, it may not be certain devotees' nature to be involved in that. but it is something to consider. Like, for example, Shivaram Swami, who's based there in Hungary, he started producing these short videos on different topics: abortion, non-violent diet, on and on and on and on. Bunch of videos he's producing. I mean, he keeps on producing them. So what he did, what they did, the devotees in Istanbul, Turkey, is that they got his videos and they started to put subtitles on them in Turkish. And they started getting a bunch of people were watching them. And as Shivaram Swami was pointing out, he said, I'm not making these videos for devotees, by the way. He said, I'm making them for others. He said, I'm not making them for devotees, you know. So anyways, he was making them just for people, you know. So a bunch of just random, just people in Turkey, in Istanbul, started watching those videos, thousands of people. So then what the devotees in Istanbul did is they said, okay, they contacted all these people, and they said, okay, Shivaram Swami, the person, you know, you've been watching all these videos, he's coming to town, and we're renting out this hall in Turkey, in Istanbul, and he's going to be here this night, and a bunch of people came. I forgot how many, but a good number of people came. And he gave a talk, and kirtan, and prasadam, and people were just very curious, in ecstasy, you know, to meet him. So that's an example. So also here it's being mentioned that there's two. There's the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the Paramatma, and then there's the soul, the individual soul. So not just one. Many times these days, people like to have this idea. They like to think about, oh, yeah, we're all one, right? Absolutely. And I just, anyways, I was at some kind of like a doctor's office, and then he was a nice guy. You know. He told me when I was leaving, he said, all right, well, go be one with the Creator. All right, interesting. So yeah, all these different ideas are quite popular nowadays. And we shouldn't think, because sometimes, oh, well, what's the big problem? You know, it's just an idea, right? No, I mean, it's not just an idea. It's actually evil. But and they start training people like this from a very young age. I was at a bookstore with my nephews, where, you know, anyways, they wanted to go in there, and we had to use the facilities, and they also wanted to check out some of the stuff in the bookstore. So I was walking through the children's section, and I looked at some books there, and they're children's books. They're small, and they have a lot of pictures, paintings, and stuff, and yeah, it was super political. There was books that were super political, and there were also books that were like super of COVID conscious. Of course, so a lot of that going on nowadays, but means they had a certain they had certain ideas, they had certain beliefs, they had certain things they wanted the youth to know, and they were letting them know in these small children books. I mean, and in so many ways they enter into children's minds, so many different messages. So so we shouldn't be scared that, oh, we're just some like weird, Hare Krishna people, and we're out there dancing on the streets and weird clothes, and we got these books that are like out there pushing books, and I mean, it is not weird at all. It is the thing to do. It is absolutely important. It's what everybody else is doing. The movie industry, the music industry, all social media, all children's books and bookstores, and everybody's pushing their ideas. Like, to the degree that, and many times, in many cases, to a larger degree than we are. So we shouldn't be scared to be enthusiastic and fired up to share. We should be, loudly broadcasting. So why? Because there's so many nitya-buddhas out there, eternally conditioned souls. They're just completely bound, like practically helpless, like a goat going into a slaughterhouse. Unless the police come and say, "Hey guys, you're not taking those goats, you're not taking those," then there's no chance, for them to be free. The goats. So similarly, people, they're just lined up, Nitya Buddha, lined up, completely conditioned, completely helpless, being forced practically to suffer. So the devotees therefore the devotees are coming, right? The devotees say, "Hey, wait a second, don't go that direction. Don't jump off that cliff. Hey, don't go into that slaughterhouse. Hey, go this way." And that's the beauty of the devotees, really, that they care, and they're not just concerned about themselves. Because the Nitya Buddhas, the eternally conditioned, the helpless, they can become, practically speaking, they can also be helped. Although in many ways they're helpless, they could also be helped, and then they could become a force for good in the world. Just like many devotees. I mean, it's not that before they became devotees they were, big saints, helping the world, doing wonderful things, right? I mean, maybe there were some pious, right, good-hearted devotees were, trying to do some good, but in many cases they weren't. I mean, they were completely lost, confused, bewildered, depressed, lonely, angry, right? On and on and on. Misguided, unfortunate, unlucky, right? Completely helpless themselves. But then they start chanting Hare Krishna a little bit, start taking some prasadam, start associating devotees. And then they could come to the point of Yare Dekataha Kaha Krishna Badesh Amargai Ta Guru Tari Desh, that whoever you are, wherever you go, try to tell people about Krishna. In this way, try to liberate the land. In other words, they could act as guides, as gurus, as teachers. So just as we may have been in that position, right? And now, by the mercy of the devotees and Srila Prabhupada and Krishna, we could guide, right, to a degree. We could help people to a degree, right? Take to Krishna consciousness, be Krishna conscious. Then that's the same for others too. They could also take to Krishna consciousness. And we should try for that. Just like Mr. Arjun Jaggi here, he showed up. Special occasion?
I'm
Okay. All right, good. That's a good reason to come. He said he's never attended Bhagavatam class. All right, well, welcome. We're glad you attended. So, just like Arjun, Jaggy here, and Michael. You know Michael? I don't think he shows up anyways. He usually shows up later in the day and in the nighttime, but I guess he's kind of more of a night owl or something. But you got early birds, you got night owls, right? So, anyways, Arjun and Michael, they're going to. There's a website that has all of the different free libraries within San Diego, and there's quite a lot of them. I mean, I saw there's like packed. There's a lot. I guess they're into free libraries here in San Diego. You know, there's this little. They have a little post with a book, box there. You put books in. You take a book, leave a book. So they're going to go to all of those free libraries, and they're going to put some of Prabhupada's books there. We could put BTGs, but we could put some Bhagavad Gitas, we could put whatever, Prabhupada's books. And yeah, of course, we've heard, right, they're ticking time bombs, so people will get those books. And people got books in so many different ways, in so many different places, right? It doesn't matter where they get it, as long as they get it. So there's quite a lot of them, so they're going to do that. They're also going to take pictures, so it's proof that they went there. It's like, oh yeah, how'd it go? Dropping off all the books at the free library. Oh yeah, it was great. You know, we dropped off so many of them, and yeah, we're kind of tired now, and maybe they're just drinking lemonade or something. You know, I'm just joking. I know you wouldn't do that. So you could take some pictures, right? So yeah, that will be good. So trying to help the Nitya Buddhas, the eternally conditioned. Also, we have our Dimitri. He'll be taking off, literally, on a plane. Today is, Wednesday? So he'll be leaving Friday, and he'll be gone for about 2 weeks. And he'll be going to Boise, Idaho, which is about a 2-hour flight. And then him and Amogalila will meet there, and Friday, and then Saturday they'll start the propaganda work. So they'll pass out, distribute, right, hundreds and thousands. I don't know if thousands, but we'll see. Hundreds of books and also flyers, because they're starting a Krishna lounge up there in Boise. So Bhishma Dev made these really nice flyers and posters. They'll be putting up posters, flyers, distributing books. So they'll do that for a week. Try to pump out a lot of books and flyers to all the Boise people. The university is 5 minutes away from the temple. Really close, like literally 5 minutes away. It's amazing. And then after pumping out all those flyers and books, hopefully some people will show up, right, for the first Krishna Lounge in Boise. And then they'll stay there for another week and pump out some more books and flyers. And then there'll be the second Krishna Lounge. And then after that they'll leave, and then the local devotees will take over the Krishna Lounge. They have a nice facility there, cultural center. And then sometimes devotees from San Diego, they're on traveling Sankirtan. They want to go up there to take a visit. Devotees could go up there and try to encourage them, especially for the first 6 months to a year. They need some special encouragement. Go up there and help with the lounge, give a talk, distribute some books. Even if devotees were just to go there to distribute books, I mean, it's amazing spot right there, college. So yeah, there's so many different ways that we could try to help people. And that's the idea. It's not that just, hey, I'm Jivan Mukta, I'm liberated. And, well, too bad you guys are all Nitya Buddhas. Ha, 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 you know. Too bad for you. You know, I got the mercy of Prabhupada. I got the mercy of my Guru. I got the mercy of Krishna. Now I'm Jivan Mukta. And even if you say, I'm not Jivan Mukta, okay, we're getting closer to Jivan Mukta, liberated. Or you could say we're associated with the Jivan Mukta, so practically we're Jivan Mukta. But, you guys, too bad. So, but we say, oh, hey, you could also, come on, join the Jivan Muktas, you rascal. Come on, join the Jivan Muktas. Why are you rotting like this? Why are you suffering? Join the Jivan Muktas, the liberated souls. So yeah, that's the idea. And to always, like the last part of the purport is to always be, to have as our only business to serve Krishna, to spread Krishna consciousness, to be Krishna conscious. So, does anybody have any questions?
Hare Krishna?
Yes, you could ask.
Yes, Balaram Prabhu, thank you very much. You're very kind. The quote from the purport related to the verse you chose for today, 5:11:12, is as follows. Quote, when the mind is trained and the soul is not under the mind's control, the soul can be liberated even in this material world, end quote. So, based on this quote, my question is as follows. You know better than me that for me to win the Olympic Games, I need to go for training in order to become a winner.
Yes.
So, when I go for training the mind, what kind of winner I become?
Okay, so in order to win the Olympics, you have to train. Yeah, that's for sure. You have to have a certain diet, you have a certain exercise, right? On and on and on. And then you become a winner. So he's asking when we learn and train the mind, what type of winner do we become? Well, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur in his, what's that book called? It's essays on the six principles of nectar of instruction. Anyways, Bhaktya, anyways, I'm forgetting the name. But in that particular book, he explains that first, the devotee conquers their senses and minds. Senses and mind. Many minds. Senses and mind. And then, he says, then they conquer the world. Now, what does that mean? Because, what do you mean? Why would a bhakti practitioner, why would we want to conquer the world? Why would we want to be some big winner and, conquer the world? Well, what does that mean? That means that because the devotee is not under control of anything externally, nor are they under the control of anybody in a material sense. It's not that someone could buy them out, right? Nor are they, it's because they've controlled their mind and their senses. Then they're considered to be conquerors of the world in the sense that they're no longer slaves of anyone or anything, materially speaking. And because of that, people see that. And they say, oh, I better listen to this person. Because I can see this person's free, right? And I'm not. I better listen to this person. Just like Srila Prabhupada was walking off of out of a big, he gave a talk and he was walking away and there's a bunch of people there and they're all trying to touch his feet. And Srila Prabhupada said, oh, you know why they're trying to touch my feet? He said, because devotees tell it differently, so but they say because I'm completely free from sex desire, material desire. And then some devotees say that it was when Srila Prabhupada kept walking, he said, well, I'm trying to be free, But whatever the case is, Prabhupada's course, pure devotee, right? A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami, control of the mind and senses. And because of that, people could sense that, and therefore they listen. So we become a winner in the sense by controlling our mind, is that it gives us the empowerment, actually, to influence people in a good way, in a positive way, to be Krishna conscious. Or else one can't really. I mean, if someone's a guru and they don't have, if someone's a guru and they don't have control of their mind and their senses, then what type of winner are they? What can they win? They're going to lose, right? Because eventually something is going to come by that is enticing to them, money, whatever, this, that, and they're going to go for it, and then everybody's going to see, oh, this guy's a hypocrite. This guy is not in control, right? So he's going to be a loser. So anyways, that's something about that. Yeah.
Yes, Balaram Prabhu, as usual, wonderful answer to my question. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Hare Krishna. Any other question or comment?
Thank you.
All right. Canto Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai.